Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base, and yeah, there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it. You know, we come to play basketball for our job, and it's fun, but we don't want to go to work every day and have social media blown up over things like that. It's uncalled for and something.
All right, let's dive into the latest WNBA controversy because things have gotten extremely heated. Alyssa Thomas has publicly criticized Caitlin Clark's fan base, accusing some of them of racism, and many people online aren't convinced by her claims. After spending more than a decade in the league, you would expect Alyssa to be used to loud crowds and a bit of trash talk. Instead, she has taken it further by suggesting that the reason fans cheer so passionately for Clark rather than for her is related to skin color. That's a serious claim, and it has sparked intense debate. The situation clearly has multiple layers, and at this point, it doesn't appear to be helping Alyssa Thomas's image in the public conversation.
Ran into people who were born in 40s a couple of weeks ago that were telling me it's worse now than it was in the 60s. But knowing how our society can be, we see the ugliness that exists in certain parts of the country. All I'm saying is you can't ignore it. This is a perfect example, a small one, but nevertheless a perfect example of illuminating the kind of society that we're still living in, no matter how far forward we.
She made that accusation right after one of her toughest performances, scoring just 8 points in a playoff game. At the same time, Caitlin Clark has been rewriting record books, averaging more than 25 points per game, and energizing the league with highlight reel performances night after night. So maybe this situation isn't about race at all. Maybe it simply comes down to production. Fans tend to support players who consistently deliver big numbers and memorable moments, not the ones whose stat lines make you double-check the box score to see how much impact they actually had on the game.
Instagram wasn't there waiting for me. Instagram and Twitter, these are choices we make. It could have been somebody from Connecticut pretending to be an Indiana Fever fan, or someone from Connecticut who doesn't like you because you're a whiny victim 24/7. In my 11 years, I've never dealt with what I've dealt with. You know why? Because no one cared about your league before Caitlin.
I'm all for speaking up when there's a genuine issue that needs to be addressed. But in this case, it feels more like a distraction than the start of a meaningful conversation. Alyssa Thomas has spent over a decade in the league. She understands media pressure, fan reactions, and how public narratives work. She's not new to any of this, so the timing naturally raises questions. Why bring this up right now? Why shift the spotlight in this direction at this particular moment? After a tough performance, some might wonder whether the focus was intentionally redirected away from what happened on the court. If we're being honest, that's the question many people are quietly asking.
In a world today, think about the climate that exists. Think about how unhealthy and divisive our climate is in today's day and age. They're saying it's worse now than it was then.
Racial tension.
Racial tension, okay? So you see this girl, Caitlin Clark, and this is not her fault. It's not her fault. We won't go back. We won't go back. Don't let us go back. There's certain people that want us to go back to a different time, blah, blah, blah.
Caitlin Clark isn't controlling who cheers for her. She's simply focusing on what she does best, competing at an elite level and producing on the court. What escalated the debate, however, was that Alyssa Thomas didn't frame her remarks as a brief or casual comment. Instead, her statements came across to many as suggesting she was being unfairly treated because she doesn't receive the same level of fan support as Clark.
In Austin, is X still in San Francisco? Was this game in San Francisco? Where exactly did she travel to work and get invaded by social media? They played in an arena. Somewhere, I would imagine, in Connecticut. There were no opposing fans. You barely had home fans. And so no one cared. A couple 300,000 people were watching your games. No one will be tweeting about you, at least Alyssa Thomas. But the WNBA, in its infinite wisdom and cowardice, put out a statement.
From another perspective, Clark's popularity is tied to her performance. Supporters argue that fans respond to production, highlight plays, and consistent impact. When a player delivers standout performances game after game, the crowd energy usually follows. Critics believe that rather than focusing solely on an off night and addressing the performance itself, Alyssa shifted the conversation toward controversy, bringing Clark's fan base into the discussion and intensifying an already heated narrative.
Go to work today, and then she said, and have social media. Do you work on social media? Is that what does she travel? I think, where did they move Twitter to, or X? Where have I heard this argument before? Oh, Donald Trump may be fine, but the MAGA people, they're terrible. They're the deplorables. They're a threat to democracy. That ain't much of an audience, baby girl. You ain't catching a lot of strays. There was the other comments that she made, and someone hit me. Replay her comments.
What many people find ironic is that her comments are being interpreted as an attempt to position herself as the victim. Alyssa Thomas has been in the league for more than a decade, so she understands how professional sports work. Fans typically respond to effort, impact, and standout performances on the court. The louder the production, the louder the applause.
People showed up, and you're dealing with what everybody deals with on social media. You've got 14,000 followers on Twitter, and Caitlin Clark on the Roots poster or the Roots. What's she talking about? Did someone put Dejanay Carrington's face on something? I don't know. People were waiting for them before the game, after the game, and yelling racial slurs at them or yelling inappropriate things at them.
Critics argue that energy spent pointing fingers might be better invested in elevating on-court performance. In professional basketball, statistics, efficiency, and big moments are what drive conversation and headlines. From that perspective, this controversy didn't need to happen. Instead of the focus remaining on basketball and accountability after a tough outing, the narrative shifted toward drama, turning what could have been a routine post-game discussion into a heated public debate.
On Twitter since 2009 or 8, somewhere around there. The abuse, the things that are said and have been said about me will be said about me today. Turn to your teammate and say, hey, cut it out. That's not what she's going to do or anybody's going to do. They're all going to, oh, it's Caitlin Clark, it's her fans. And now that Caitlin Clark has exited, they'll get to deal with the traveling gay sex cult that they're.
When it comes to the allegations of racial abuse, it's important to approach the topic carefully. No one is denying that racism exists. It remains a serious issue in sports and in society as a whole. Those concerns should always be treated with gravity and respect. At the same time, some critics have questioned the timing of Alyssa Thomas's comments. After more than a decade in the league, this is the first time many fans have heard her raise this specific concern publicly, which has led to skepticism in certain circles. That doesn't automatically invalidate her experience, but it does influence how the conversation is being received. For some observers, the context and timing have made it harder to separate the broader issue from the immediate circumstances surrounding her recent performance and the ongoing debate. The skepticism has grown even stronger because the remarks came immediately after one of her most difficult games of the season. For some observers, that timing makes the situation feel less convincing and more reactionary. Many fans simply aren't accepting the narrative that race is the driving factor behind the criticism. From their perspective, frustration is tied to performance, not identity. In professional sports, especially during the playoffs, expectations are high. When a player scores just 8 points in a crucial matchup, fans naturally focus on the numbers and the impact on the game. Support in those moments often depends on results. Fair or not, playoff basketball is judged by production, and that reality tends to shape how fans respond. Many supporters argue that the difference in crowd reaction comes down to performance and visibility rather than identity. Caitlin Clark is being celebrated because she's producing historic numbers, drawing major attention to the league, and consistently delivering headline moments. Her scoring ability, deep shooting range, and record-breaking pace have elevated her profile and brought new eyes to the WNBA. By contrast, critics feel that raising accusations immediately after a disappointing game weakens the message and shifts focus away from basketball. In professional sports, accountability and production often shape public perception. While the debate around race and fan behavior is serious and deserves thoughtful discussion, many observers believe Clark's rise is primarily tied to her on-court impact. As her resume continues to grow, so does her influence, reinforcing the idea that in elite competition, performance is usually what defines legacy.